It's quickly becoming my favorite matchup. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Honestly, it's a repeat of history. It feels like, surely these days, with Ottomans on the rise and Byzantines needing a little bit of a recalibration, we've got something special for you here. Wrong scene. I knew I was going to do that. We're checking in on Gileadi and Louis MT. It's going to be on Carmelival maps, a very kind of naked, secluded map. And this is fun, man. Ottomans, Louis, like, I can't think of, like, many other players that are more intriguing to watch than, say, B. B and Louis basically take the entire cake. But Gileadi on the Byzantines is definitely a pushover. It's two interesting picks on this particular map as well, because when we talk about Carmel, we're often talking about the deer. And these are two civs that don't necessarily play into Pro Scout, so I'm curious to see how these two want to approach this. Is that a turbo or something on my desk? Wait, turbo? What, you mean the stream deck in the center? We're fully Elgato equipped, mate. But it's funny, guys, because, like, actually, we were saying the other day, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like, this matchup for the longest time defied history. It was a case of Byzantines surviving the siege, 1453 passed by, and the Orthodoxy never fell. But in the last 3 weeks, month, we've seen Ottomans really just start to pull ahead in this matchup. And I think with the increased flexibility we're seeing with new builds, that shouldn't necessarily change here. In terms of the quality of players, Gileadi's definitely no slouch. He's no Perfechova. So although Louis MT is very talented, don't write off the Finn as finished. He has gone for the double stone opener. So, like, at the moment, we're actually seeing a lot of people just gravitate towards this. There's a bit of experimentation originally with the 1 stone opener. We've occasionally seen people pull 4 onto stone. That has been for a mixture of just rushing the systems quick enough because you're going to get harassed off of it. Or usually when we're watching Dumu, he likes his 2 TC games. And Sultani Trade Network coming through from Louis. Dare I say delayed Pro Scouts here? Does that sound weird? I don't think that sounds too weird. We've seen B done it a lot back in Season 9 when Pro Scouts was at its peak. And Louis MT is definitely one of the more experimental Ottoman players. I still remember when he came up with this 2TC Sultani Trade Network build that was pretty sick to witness. I never truly caught on back in those days, but, you know, with extensive fortifications being what it is, I mean, it comes in too late. But something like Pax Ottomana on 2TC could actually make a lot of sense. Let's see the marketplace marks. How you think Gileadi is going to do that? I mean, there are knights. The problem is you're against Ottomans, so it kind of devalues the play. So, you know, for horse archers as well, I mean, you can kind of lean into it. Yeah, and he's going Hippodrome. Okay, so I've been finding this interesting at the moment. I don't know if it's because the matchup's been a little bit weird and they're trying to make adjustments, but I've seen more and more Byzantine players now lean towards Hippodrome up against Ottomans. We saw it just the other day after their player was forced to because it was going to be an outpost rush onto their berries. But this is a very different game, right? Louis MT isn't trying to aggro in the Dark Age at all. He is, however, most definitely going for Pro Scouts. We've got the gold gathering standing pretty high already. Mill's coming in. And, I mean, who can blame them, right? We're on Carmel. This map has a ludicrous quantity of deer. Like, we're talking, I believe it's 24? 28, rather, per player. Actually, sorry, no, yeah, 28. 29? I thought they nerfed it an extra 1. Like it would have mattered. 29 deer per player. That means 58 deer in total on the map. Remember, 350 per. You can do the maths. I've gone through it multiple times, and it blows my mind every time that it still has this much food on the map. And it's why Pro Scouts probably is just unavoidable for practically every civ in the game, bar the very few that actually get punished for doing it. Byzantines can definitely be one of those civs that feels punished for doing Pro Scouts. And especially in this matchup, man, because, like, if you're thinking Pro Scouts, you're probably thinking of going for the Keshik play, right? Because, you know, the whole idea is you're playing the cavalry already with Hippodrome, so usually when we see Hippodrome, we see Keshik into Gulam options. Both of those are going to feel pretty rough here into Ottomans. I just think especially, in particular, the Keshiks are going to feel pretty underwhelming against a civ that has access to anti-cav guns, of all things. Yo, you know what we actually need? We need a civ that really hates Delhi so much they get a literal elephant gun. Right? Come on. There's going to be one person who's the biggest protector of Delhi in the world. Is like, no, 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 not to us. it's just this is a gun that's going to one-hit kill an elephant. I don't see the problem. Horseman opening from Biz, no surprise there. So yeah, with the playing the Hippodrome, this is always inevitable. This is also giving him a good way of shutting down the scout play. The reaction from Louis MT is going to just be to follow up with Sipahi. He's already committed into double stable blacksmiths. That's a lot of pump. Remember, the blacksmiths is going to buff the production rates, which does also impact scouts, most notably. Scouts that usually take 23 seconds to come out. Meanwhile, for Kilyadi, of course, he has got that accelerated rate via the Hippodrome. And in fact, 1 second, I just had an idea. Why don't we actually go ahead and apply a name cover, a namesake for Mr. Kilyadi? Just need to actually get the teal color locked in. And Bob will be your uncle. There we go. Doesn't that look a lot more orderly?
Now you're
What is up, Nasu? Thank you very much for the raid, mate. Appreciate you. Arigato. I hope you had a good stream. This is where someone's going to speak full Japanese at me, and I'm just going to say, Nani? So, we are seeing the move out onto the berries now. There's a lot in this area, actually. I wonder if you could just play Hippodrome into standard mercs. I really hope he does. Like, actually kind of Western contract. I dig pretty hard here. We mentioned already why the Keshik play is going to feel a little bit underwhelming. Even more so because Lou MT has committed into the Imam point, which means he'll be able to heal off damage done. So unless you can guarantee a kill, you're up Craps Creek without a paddle. And no, this is not the ETC Masters Summers $30,000 tournament. These are tippity-top Legends of the Ladders. So players that are basically in the upper ranks. This matchup in particular is a top 10 matchup. Louis MT first in the world right now. Kilyadi floating about 10th. Nice reaction. Louis should have enough time to get the Sipahi home. Really important as well because of that healing awaiting him. Very expensive to lose any of these. So good deal actually dodging that. And an even bigger deal. It is going to be the mercenaries. He went for the knights. What? I mean, I guess it's an edge against Ottomans here. I guess my one concern is, like, later on, do you really want to be sitting on 10 plus knights when your opponent hits Castle Age? I guess for Kilyadi, the thought process is, why would I let him get to Castle Age? Which is very in line with Kilyadi for anyone who's watched any of his games. This guy has no chill. He has no patience for late game play. And yes, Sipahi are slower than standard horsemen. They move at 1.75. So it is a minute difference. 1.88 versus 1.75. Takes a very long time to get a stab in. Would take even longer to actually like fully surround. That's why you don't see many people just try to run past the Sipahi, because a good player will see it in time and then just steer. And the moment they steer, you lose all your progress. So it just kind of sucks to try and trap Sipahi. Drummer boys are going to be here soon, by the way. Which is going to make this very difficult. I mean, Kilyadi just needs to keep that knight pumping upwards. Like, once he's about 6, he gets a little bit scary here. But we've definitely got some ways to go. Louis just reaping the benefits of the map. I mean, this is actually, like, ideal. I think Ottomans, their best comp, if they can get it, is Mass Sipahi. You don't need to rush castle anymore. And it's because I think players have just gotten so good at utilizing the Sipahi. Not necessarily that they changed, per se. It's just players became a lot more attuned to the microscopic details that gets the most out of these cavalry. Even a scout is a struggle to kill. Yeah, I mean, Kilyadi's not doing himself any favors with the way he's chasing, right? Like, he's just A-clicking onto them, so they just all scramble on top of each other, kind of body blocking as he goes. He's looking for the dive. Sipahi, you're going to have to spread out here. The Imams could be in trouble. He activates the buff here, so Triumph coming in, but great micro there with the garrison. Louis MT keeps the valuable Imams alive. Shiv's out to try and defend themselves, but that buffed up damage, these guys hit a little bit too hard, so the villagers are going to have to scramble about. Meanwhile, there's going to be a counter dive, but great reaction by Kilyadi. Second wave was there to answer. In the end, though, this dive, I mean, it feels pretty damn expensive for just one worker kill. Knights, horsemen all going down. Once again, just pristine micro. Louis MT with the magic fingers to get out of Dodge City time and time again. Only one worker loss, and To make matters worse, like, it's just a complete sinker. Kiliari just threw away all momentum he potentially had ahead of him. He has to now go for a tech up. Meanwhile, Louis MT, outside that one worker lost, there's no threat anymore. They all got healed up, remember, courtesy of the imams. This is the perk. This is the benefit. Look at those little pluses. Louis, onus now on him. Does he look to just counteroffensive here? Or does he now take the gift horse and tech up? No, if you choose to tech up, your Sipahi could lose some value. There's still going to be a very crucial unit in these kind of skirmishes in the mid-game. They're very good raiders. They scale well with veterancy. And also can function as kind of like a pseudo frontline in these melee clashes if it goes full men-at-arms. But ideally, you want to get some value out of it now. You will start marching out. Topped all his boys off. Meta with them. Other side, Kiliari about to pull the trigger with level 5 Cistern. This should allow him to bloat knights. Remember, he didn't choose a contract, which means once that Golden Horn Tower completes, there's going to be additional French knights queued up. Bloody impressive start out of Louis. And something that we come to expect, I think actually he was the first player to lock on to just how much you can get out of TC Garrison, Ungarrison when the change came in, if you guys remember. It's a long time ago, but he was on top of the game immediately. I feel like he just had a leg over people. I still remember one of the first games I watched on that patch, him just dodging and weaving with archers in his base against horsemen and somehow surviving. Kid's got a lot of talent. I think sometimes we focus a lot on his strategic approach, his understanding of the late game, and maybe don't give enough what's the word I'm looking for? Compliments? Enough presence to the micro that makes him so good. The ball. Kiliari? Alright then. I mean, ambitious to think that... I think he knew he's dead. He's like, screw it, let's hit him in return. But, like, realistically, that's never going to work. Not with the Sipahi movement speed. And wow. Okay, so Kiliari is sticking to the plan, guys. He's going into the cataphracts. So full cavalry against Ottomans. This is ballsy. As is this dive. Which I'm reluctant to say is going to find anything because once again, Louis on point with the dodge. There will be receiving on the other side, though. There was a knight waiting there, so finds himself with 2 additional kills. In the meantime, though, Louis MT is bringing those relics home. In fact, he could go for a double warlord that would have claimed the lives there. Didn't react. The supply count is good enough that right now Kiliari is running scared. And this is the worrisome thing. Like, you got these small raids, but sure, like, yeah, they're great. But your opponent's now getting relics, plus the fact he's also got his hands on the, additional production now for free out of the Mehmed. Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him steer under the stone next. In fact, that's now coming. So military school is just around the corner. Much needed at this stage, because you have to remember that Kiliari is working on percentile buff. Being up by 28% per villager efficiency. Right now, Louis just up by a mile when it comes to military force. And, we're kind of at the stage where he doesn't necessarily have to defend. He could just choose to attack. Camel Riders is a very smart choice by Kiliari. He did commit. That does mean that he's going to get a lot more RNG involved in the Golden Horn Tower. Remember, if he didn't choose a contract unlock, it would have either produced Horse Archers or Royal Knights. Now it's going to be Horse Archers, Royal Knights, Javelins, Camels. Yeah, so very hard to kind of plan fully around that. You already see the chaotic effect, right? Camel Riders into the Horse Archers. And, very defensive Kiliari. Not something you see often, and it's costing him dearly here, folks. Yeah, because he never picked up a single relic. In fact, has Louis been perfectly dropping them on the same spot? This is 4 relics? Could easily end up being 5, actually. Sipahi have got some easy clear targets, right? You can just go after the Cisterns to deny a percentile buff across the board. Smart read, that's exactly what Louis is going to do. Does offer up an opening, though, and we can see that Kiliari is now marching forward into the center. He's looking to stake his claim on the gold, because remember, on Carmel, you only have these tiny veins. Your gold sources run out absurdly fast. We'll even start weaving beyond. Military school starting to get layered into the cake. Has got plenty of room at the back here. No walls yet, though, which means that Kiliardi has opportunities to do damage here. And Louis, there's that switch we were worried about for Kiliardi. Janissaries just got queued. And reminder, Janissaries got changed, right? They don't specifically take 50% increased damage, so things like horse archers are not going to be as good of an answer as they once were. Sabahi just getting cheeky. He's going to show respect and back away, though. And now it's Kiliardi's turn to attack. Jumps in on the tree line. Will be able to charge forward. Connects with a few. And Louis MT can micro all he wants, but it has its limitations here. Wallow's going to be there. The Janissaries need to help defend. Buying time for the boys to come back home to do so. And Kiliardi actually hanging around here. Activates the Triumph. Cataphracts the Trample. Does get on top of the Janissary. So smart move. The great micro there from Kiliardi. And the following up wave is going to be able to clear out the gunpowder boys. Not just that. He's chasing for more. Kiliardi got the stench of the blood in the air, and he looks to increase the volatility of it. We've got a few Janissaries being guarded by villagers right now. Wait, what is happening? Look at the lead. This is ridiculous. It's already 10 up. He's going to be 25 up by the end of this. Oh my god, and there's been no sort of counterattack. Louis MT didn't find the economy at all. He got bogged down on Limitane. Cataphract still chasing. We're now up to 22 worker kills in this game. 17 worker lead for the Byzantines of all civs. And more shivs are out. Oh my god. I mean, no trample to get on top of the mangonel, but who cares? You want those villager kills anyway. It's now a 20 economy lead for Kiliardi. Louis MT in absolute shambles, but finally he finds something vulnerable he can attack. It's going to be the double outpost defense. Garrison's going to protect most of them. The Mitane now starting to mop through those Sipahi. And the Camelonese really is just the spit in the face here, isn't it? It's already an anti-unit, but it's double anti, and you don't have any easy way of dealing with those camels. All right, call an ambulance. I mean, maybe Kiliardi can offer the services. I think the Finnish do get free healthcare, if I'm not mistaken. Louis MT is going to need it. Because this looks absolutely brutal. 34 economy to 52. We've got Sipahi plus Janissary is going to be the stuck 2 comp. And Limitani answers a lot of the concerns here. Now, one concern I do have for Kiliardi is going to be long-term food. He's still got plenty to work with, but the trade-off is, you know, in terms of berry count, there's not much left here now. So you're going to lack mercenary pump. You're going to be more reliant on just, you know, your raw food gains. You know, you'd think that in these type of situations, look at the game and go, okay, you know, that's kind of GG. I mean, Louis MT doesn't have many villages. He's going to be out of food soon. One of those facts is true. The other should not be. Remember, this is a game where he's been running pro scouts for the past, you know, 10 plus minutes. He's been reaping the rewards. He's even at a point where he's been able to start sneaking on the enemy side. So Kiliardi, you know, his focus should be on how do I win? How do I limit my exposure to needing to transition into farms? Is there a timing that I can attack my opponent in now to end the game? And, well, if you know Kiliardi, is there any point in the game where he can't end the game with aggro? That's his mentality. That's his mindset. He's like a Rottweiler. Nibbling, chewing at the bone. I wonder, is there room for Louis MT to 2TC? He's done everything orderly and expected so far. We don't have any deviation from the normal Vizier point builds. But he's approaching the point where he could get extensive fortifications, which would discount the TC cost. I'm just not really sure it's worth it at this particular point. He's probably more likely to just go towards the Advanced Academy choice and get his hands on quicker production as well as access to Janissaries and Knights. Kiliardi, he's hunkering down, mate. Yeah, he's setting up on the 8k gold, so he's willing to take this a long way. Oh, tricky, though. Like, your opponent isn't really going to get gold starved easily. I understand the necessity from Kiliardi's side, but it's not that double downer of like, yo, not only have I now got gold, but I know you needed this as well. Why most of the time Ottoman players go with Sipahi front, no spearmen, even against Knight Civs? Because spearmen slows you down. Like if you're playing a cavalry comp, then you need to be mobile, and spearmen are not. I mean, look at, if you had spearmen, you wouldn't have got here in time for this. Nice strike in there. Sipahi just ignoring those spearmen as they just run past. In fact, they're just killing them because he has got the fortitude activated. And you just see how scary that ability can be in the right hands. You know, it definitely takes a lot of micro focus. You need to be A-click, move, A-click, move, A-click, move instantly. You can handle that. World is your oyster. And it's still a drop in a bucket, but it is a beginning. Kilyadi's still ahead by 13. Siston's never got rebuilt out, though. I think he needs to connect this back. So he hasn't got the huge eco buff that we're used to seeing yet. Not on the full eco. Only on about, half. Okay. Is Kilyadi playing this too slowly? Is my thought now. Because you kind of have to react to Sipahi. This is one of the weird things, is that your opponent, you hit him really well when there's a lot of economy to strike at. Now there's less economy. So before, you done a great job of mirroring his attempted raid, and you blocked him out, but let's say he gets in this time. There's so many more kills for the Ottoman cavalry to achieve than the Byzantine cav, if the Byzantine cav really existed. And that's another thing, the slowness of this army makes it very hard to go for a counter dive. He's going to try to rotate around. I guess he's thinking about guarding the extra resources, but reminder, it's pro scouts. There's really not that much of an urgent rush. I mean, the weird thing you have to keep in mind here is that Kilyadi's still not technically defending his deer. He's eating through some of them, sure. On the west side in particular, I mean, this is the type of area where your opponent theoretically could sneak in. Another attempt at a raid. This time, plenty of troops at home. What's that mango tar? It's just mango tars. What do you mean, what's that mango tar? They always do that. You haven't seen heat-seeking rocks before? I'm sorry, which century did you live in? Man, Sipahi just so obnoxious. This is the thing, the extra health, the extra attack range makes it very difficult for you to just catch your opponent off guard and then take a stab at the spears to get some kills. It just goes a long way, allowing Louis to essentially just pull back, then heal up the damage. And you can see he's even investing in more imams to allow for that variable later on. What is happening up here, though? South and north side. So, wait a second. Louis, it's not the whole army. It's a decent chunk of it, though. Janissaries in particular outside the base. The Limitane, while the farmer's away from the house, might as well sneak in and help yourself to the pie. Limitane charge on in. Mangonel's unguarded. And Sipahi have to retreat. Villagers as well, so great dive in there. Forces some idle time, intercepts reinforcements, and gets rid of the siege threat. And now we're looking at a sandwich. Janissaries pull off to try and defend the north side. We'll better scare them away. There's still javelins up there that could deal those Jannies. Limitane can start diving in. It's becoming a little bit scrambled here. The archers not attacking the right target. Kilyadi, A-click is going to be his worst enemy here. Finally starts to realize the mistake, but I mean, at this point, there's not much left on the offensive. He dives on in on the north. Great read by Louis MT just to peel away with the Sipahi. Fortitude activated, realizes the mistake, pulls away in time, and with a substantial military lead, I'm starting to get worried here for Kilyadi. Louis MT, he should have been dead, folks. Keep in mind, at the point in the game where he lost the level of economy he lost, made up, what, a third of his eco? Probably more. Now we're in a situation where, is a 12 villager lead big? Yes. But as a percentage, does it register as hard as it did 5 minutes ago? Absolutely not. Especially when you consider at this stage, Louis MT, with all those extra points, he's got the efficiency on the military schools. 4 of them at the back, plus the member of the Imperial Armory. And then, the counteraction issue here is, do the Byzantines have this buff? Yes. Is this buff a good thing? No and yes. Because you're seeing all these finite resources tapped through way too quickly. He's quickly living beyond his means. And, we talked about this dangerous point needing to go for an olive grove transition. That has finally arrived. Ottoman's the original, oh, you killed my villagers, but who cares, Civ? True. I mean, Malians kind of were as well, right? Same time, same place. But both of them have most definitely been eclipsed these days by House of Lancaster. Mongols too, actually. Mongols is a very weird version. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but Mongol players have this habit of losing 80% of their economy and still winning games. Where was I last week? I had to go to a conference in London. I do post out about these things. Reminder why it's always important to join the Twitter, the Discord, so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so Louis MT is starting to scrape together the recovery. There is still a concern here that Kilyadi holds all the cards when it comes to the gold. Yes, you do have the relics. You got some Sacred Site gold trickle. But Louis is about to choose Imp, and Imp has a lot of gold expense to it. He lacks access to good gold sources. So we'll see how he wants to try and approach this. Like, it's going to sound weird to say, but in an odd way, like a Seagate Castle could be worth it just to secure that resource. I think instead, we'll just take the standard. Yeah, there you go. Because Istanbul Observatory, the production rates are just too good to resist. This is the thing. I think actually still I'm a believer that Mehmed Imperial Armory and the Seagate Castle probably need to switch places. I just don't see a world in which Istanbul Observatory isn't meta time and time again. Not without substantial nerfs or reworks. And in some ways I'm happy about that. Like, I haven't really been subtle about my hate of defensive landmarks. I think, they're a little bit toxic, a little bit too tanky, a little bit too good. I'm not aware at all of what's happening. No, because if you were, I don't think you'd be spamming Varangian right now. Varangian, when your opponent's about to get Janissary upgrades, sounds like a big no-no. And Kilyadi all of a sudden springs to life. Like a cat that just got caught sneaking into the pantry. Like, huh? Wait, I wasn't doing what you think I was doing. wait, wasn't expecting to find the army here either. Oh my god, Louis. This might have been too soon. Sipahi are going to try to protect him. Mangoes are going to stay alive for the time being, but the villagers have to pull away, and the Janissaries plus the archers are going to get sacked for it. So Kilyadi may have been late to spring to life here, but he's still able to prove that old age hasn't taken the power out of his swing. Issue is obviously, can you actually do damage now before the elite tech comes in for those Sipahi? Because Kilyadi, 17 spears sounds good against 28 horsemen until you realize they're elite Sipahi of all things. Looks like Kilyadi actually went for 2 TC behind all this. Remember, he doesn't have the Grand Winery, so the inflation value of olive groves is pretty slow compared to what we're used to seeing in most Byzantine games. That's why he dodged it for so long. This just feels weird, man. Like, I mean, do you have the burn damage? Yes, but like, what's the trade out here? You're allowing elite tech Sipahi. Not just that, Great Bombard. Did he just... Yep, he got the point. So purchase the Great Bombard for free. Essentially just trying to now punish Kilyadi for hanging around the base. Yeah, this is a get off my lawn Bombard. Apparently they listened. But I think if you're Kilyadi, you're pretty happy with what you've done here, right? You create the space, you create the environment in which going age up now makes sense. So foreign engineering company's going to be coming in. Meanwhile, Louis MT has lost his free university, which means he's not able to quickly now rush into things like biology tech and whatnot. I wonder, what will he do next? I mean, once Kilyadi ages up, if he had all the olive groves set up, Knights wouldn't be a bad idea, obviously until you get counterplayed, but like for the time being it would work. I think realistically, he's just going to stick to like what? Limited cost trash. So things like Limitane, very big deal. And yeah, actually just committing to javelins. How interesting. It definitely makes sense if you think about it. Like, it's the ultimate solution he has to the components. So javelin's going to very very easily clean up Janissaries. And then obviously for Sipahi, they can fight against Limitane, but it's not a fight they'll ever gonna like. Biology is going to make it even harder as well. Louis MT only with one meta may be a little bit surprising at this point. It can be quite risky because of how easily they die at this stage. Wouldn't mind seeing him add in 2 more. Having 3 makes it very difficult for your opponent to remove the auras. It also gives you a lot of heads up as to when they're trying to. So if you see, oh, wow, he killed one of my metas, you know what his game plan is, and you can just react. Yeah, it's almost like having a sticky note on your monitor. Like, oh, right, yeah. Keeping these alive is good. Oh, yeah, I mean, even just 2 here can actually be pretty annoying. I'm a little bit surprised he's pulling away so quickly, but he has at least baited a lot of army to react to this. Kiliadi, has he almost tapped the AK? Oh my god, yeah, down to 2,600 gold already. Now, keep in mind one of the really, really big problems here now. At this stage, for Kiliadi, it's the olives, or the lack of. He's still only got 16 farms. Adding in another, I believe, 10 now. He doesn't have that late game economy to really use foreign engineering company is the issue here. That's why he just continue to be a little bit annoying. But realistically, it may look like Louis MT's economy is a bit small. I'm okay with it. His approach makes sense because right now, Sipahi, they're not really being utilized to just kill white, because that's too expensive, right? Like, you don't have the economy for that. But what Louis MT can do by choosing Sipahi only is dictate the flow and escape repercussions quite often. That's important, If you go into a fight and you lose 40 units as Louis MT, like that, curtain's closed, right? Because Kiliadi's eco is just much better. But if there's a trickle of raids and damage being spread out across 10 minutes, that's something you can always just replace courtesy of that passive production. It's like Kiliadi's trying to get cute here. I like the idea. He was hoping there was going to be a reaction on the north side and then he'd get a freebie on the south. Louis MT quick on the read. Won't be caught out that easily. More big boy techs on the way. I mean, Louis MT, didn't he already get silk bowstrings as well? No. I could have sworn I saw that for someone. Maybe I'm imagining it, but wouldn't be surprised if it's the next thing here. Just means that javelins don't get first rights on the fight, right? They don't get that opening trade. Yeah, that's another weird thing actually about the more recent changes to university techs. Silk bowstrings really, I think, devalued a lot of the potency of javelins in certain situations, at least in the late game. Made it less viable of a unit, I want to say. What is this tournament? This is not a tournament. We're watching pub games. Legends from the ladder. 2 well-known legends here. Spy again at the backside. Alright, 1's if you think Kiliadi's going to take this. 2's if you're backing Louis MT. I mean, we are in the late game. You can never truly ignore the value that you get out of something like an Ottoman pick there. Right, Ottomans are kind of renowned for that glorious comp that can do no wrong. Sipahi, Janissary, great bombards. But you're up against the Byzantines, and I actually think Biz have decent answers in the late game. Normally it comes down to contract choice, and you could argue going javelins over longbows can feel a little bit awkward because you just don't have the Janissary killers. Easily, anyway. But the other thing you do have with foreign engineering company is access to the Royal Cannons. Royal Cannons are a godsend here. It's able to quite easily just move in and take a snipe shot at the Great Bombards and pull away before it becomes problematic. Well, congrats, Louis. You've secured 850 gold. I mean, let's not forget the worker kills. Unless he forgets them. Louis. He needs to get home. Kiliadi really hates housing. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? He probably looked on the market the other day and was like, they charge how much for a house these days? Oh my god, back when I was a youthful sprig, all you had to do is pay them with 1 pig or 2 sheep. And the house would be yours. Yeah, Vizier point taken, like nothing unexpected here. Actually, I guess the Janissary Company point, I just noticed that. I thought he took Advanced Academy. That's a really big deal. Yeah, so his passive production is actually nowhere near as good as it should be. His army currently most definitely is. Big fight coming in. Kilyadi, he mispositioned here. He can't get away from this, so he's stuck to the spot against 50 Sipahi and 50 archers. Yora has at least been removed from the board, but it's removed a little bit too late. Yeah, because it looks like there's going to be a few Sipahi left over. More than a few. About 15. And that's going to clear up the second wave. So nicely played there. Louis MT now with a military lead. Kilyadi is going to be diving into the farms on the south side. Forces a lot of idle time. Meanwhile, the tiny raids from Louis, not really of comparison. Great bombards. We'll be able to turn around. Just scare them off here. The wall low's enough to stop Kilyadi from getting out of line further. Yeah, kind of feels like Louis is going to need some walls here. Kind of feels like Kilyadi could do with some walls too. Kind of feels like both of them do not want to wall one of the most annoying maps in the game to wall. Yeah, you thought Trump's plans for Mexico was a logistical nightmare? Try and wall Carmel. You'll learn the hard way. This map is ridiculously hard to wall. As soon as I say that, Louis MT gets underway with the arduous task that could span 3 generations. Yeah, he's going to be walling the far north side. Wonder if he's maybe worried about needing gold here. I mean, shouldn't really. I think this is just about securing the woods. You can see he's moved the people onto the tree line now, and if you look at his comp, it just makes sense. Louis MT only needs food and wood to sustain in the late game. Got pretty much everything he needs, right? We did mention earlier about silk bowstrings. That already came through. And the village... Kilyadi? Hello, old man? Alarm bell? Alarm bell? Alarm? I don't think he can hear us. What just happened? I mean, there's no way that was intentional. No way he just committed that as in, oh yeah, like I'm going to lose these villagers to take the gold away. It doesn't make sense. His food income is so abysmal at this point. Losing that many villagers is going to be a kick to the teeth and well, kick to the false teeth, I guess. Back to active villager production, but he's now got a long way to go, and I cannot believe the way this is swung around against him with how Kilyadi opened this game. With that absolutely insane dive that yielded 20 plus worker kills. Since then, we've only seen Kilyadi able to add 13 to his count. Meanwhile, on the other side, Louis MT is now up to 85 worker kills in total. All thanks to these constant groups of raiders moving around. Yeah, I mean, very big difference, and kind of aligns with the players and how they like to play, right? Is that Louis MT took a more raid-oriented approach to this, whereas Kilyadi went for an all-in timing. What do you do now for Kilyadi? I mean, hand cannoneers is going to be way too slow. You just don't have the gold either. I think he might just be dead. Like, what do you do with this type of income? You can say, yeah, KP, look at Louis. Yeah, but the difference, like, it's not fair to look at Louis because Louis already has an army. You know, passive production on top of that to try and replicate the losses. I mean, he's firmly in the driving seat here. Dive into the base now, going after the housing. Cracks the aqueducts. This foreign engineering company has not built a single unit all game. And at this point, you might as well went for a Palatine school. That's mass cataphracts. Smart idea. There's no Janissaries, only 4. We'll give you away sniping the great bombards as well. You definitely don't have time to wait around here. Foreign engineering company is already gutted. Louis MT now prepping for a roll into the base that could swiftly end the game here. Folks, all landmarks are on this screen. Golden cataphracts. They need to go right now. There's not really any allowance for waiting around here. I mean, the only upside he's got is that the torches are not being thrown. And I don't know why. Louis could easily just torch these down a lot faster. You want to be in position to protect. Cataphracts. Triumph gets activated. Needs that trample. Goes on through, but Louis MT preemptively pulled them away to the west side. Great Bombards can continue their great work. Imperial Hippodrome now on fire. Reloads coming through. The Janissaries making quick work of those Catas. Or is it the other way around? Sorry, there's no Janissaries here. He's only got archers. I'm so used to seeing Jannies this late in the game, so Cataphracts are going to clean up for Gigliardi. The Great Bombards are gone. There is only one landmark remaining, though, and this is important, folks. If Louis MT reblobs only Sipahi, he can go for the kill. Oh my god. He even gets maximum value. A final trample out the Triumph at the end. Louis MT. What was it? 4 Janissaries littered amongst 70 archers? Yeah, I mean... I guess that nerf hit well enough. And... oh my god, he's actually pivoting back into them from nothing. That's crazy. With this type of gold? Surely not. I mean, Louis MT is pulling a pipe dream, surely. Because remember, guys, there's another problem here. Remember which point he took. He does not have access to passive production Janissary. Without active gold gathering, Louis MT cannot afford mass Janissary. This is difficult right now. Oh my god. Gigliardi, I mean, at this stage, it feels like the victory is yours. You just have to take it. Will he move fast enough? Janissary's on the way, but not able to defend the north side. Cataphract's going to start sneaking in there. Sipahi will be pulled to try and deal with it, but just impossible to use Sipahi to shut down Cataphracts, really. The trample always gets them out of a surround. It's what makes Cataphracts one of the most annoying units to try and deal with raiding you. Gigliardi shows hesitance. What's up, Samson? I see you with their Prime sub. Thank you very much. Reminder people, always use those subs. Whether you got Prime or not, get them in. It helps the channel immensely. We're helping ourselves to a deep dish of late game. Louis MT still has both Sacred Sites locked in for the time being. His crucial economy is lean north side. Yes, he may be switching Janissaries, but still needs some wood for things like Sipahi massing. Palatine School would give so much more value. Agreed. Like right now, like looking at this game, the way it's been played by Gigliardi, he's only really building his unique units. And a few archers, as we can see. If he rolled the dice as well, I mean, even if you follow the pseudo RNG logic, there is 30% from Palatine. At this stage, that's an extra 3.5 Cataphracts. Saving you 330 each time. So even if you're just only hitting the standard RNG, then like you're looking at basically a third of your Imperial tech up already returned to you. Now for engine as well. I mean, this game has begged Palatine School more than any other game I can think of. This is crazy. Wolves. Just in time. Don't worry, though. We got the Grenadiers. We can burn it down. If only. Sipahi are scouring the land, so he's looking for the target. Right now, though, you need to get into this corner. This is the lifeblood. We're going to shut him down. That's where you need to look. It's crazy he's still able to afford Cataphracts. With what resource? We've also just got lots of olive oil. I mean, Gigliardi's trying to be strategic about this. He sees that Norway keeps spending all of the oil money. So, like, now he's like, okay, if we just hold on to ours until Norway runs out, then we can charge whatever we want. What's more likely is that it's that dodgy fish oil and no one actually wants it. Armies are bulked up to max cap and mirrored right now. Spy count at 50. Janissaries at 38. You have to feel the Janissaries are good enough to carry this. It's the variable that I feel like Kilyadi hasn't actually found a resolution for. You know, Limitane can be your resolution, but they need something to kill the Janissaries while they tank. And the sad reality is, you know, Kilyadi, this is looking more and more and more like a game where we really, really wanted was probably longbows. But then again, you wouldn't have the debuff, so you know, it's kind of a case of do you value the camel debuff more than the LBs? Farms getting out over here. Nothing too substantial yet. LuMT is looking for an opening. Sacred Site timer continues to tick down for him. Triumph is going to be activated. Kilyadi, he wants this fight. But the Janissaries are so far back already. And the Trample is just going to get you massacred. Jumps on top of him, but last time it was archers, and this time it's a gun to the face. Mow down on the back. And it allows the Sipahi to supremely just peel away from their countered unit. LuMT now with a 40 military lead and growing. The Jani Archer comp good enough to run this one home and allow LuMT to do a victory lap for the win. Kilyadi, a cool idea, but unfortunately, this Cataphracts, they have their limitations, and diving them headfirst into a unit that hits you for 37 damage every 1.5 seconds is a quick way to send them to see their ancestors. Kilyadi, he thought he was getting the golden age of the Byzantines, the return to Cataphract viability. Instead, this truly does look like the siege of 1453. The Byzantines are going to have to hide in Constantinople and pray. The Great Bombard might not be here yet. It might not even make it in time for the final shot of this game. As it still stands to be the case that 2 landmarks are down. Kilyadi is at least repairing the 3rd. But my bigger concern is, where's your army? What are you doing here? He's trying to go into horsemen, but you've just got worse horsemen. You're also now building horsemen into Janissaries. And we saw how well the Cataphracts done when they had easy access. At this stage, we are just sieging down with archers mainly. A small handful of Sipahi. I mean, cool idea what Kilyadi was thinking of here. Like, eventually just running them out of wood, then claim the game. Another thing that's kind of scary here, like Kilyadi, he still doesn't actually have enough gold to go into Elite Tech. He's going to try to dive in now. Just use the Triumph. The Horseman count is just not good. No, this is a desperation dive. Sipahi are going to be stopped from finishing off the castle, but they'll just rotate around the side. And this is just turning into a trickle and a whimper. Kilyadi about to let out a cry like a baby because he looks like he is about to get spanked. God, nothing left, right? You've still got plenty of wood on LuMT's side, and here's the other thing, right? Like, we talked at the beginning of the game about how Sipahi can be leveraged throughout the game very well now. It's continued to be the case. You know, with a lack of advanced academy, yeah, he's sacrificing production speed, but there was never a temptation to focus on Janissaries. And that's smart. As long as your Sipahi frontline keeps surviving, your Janissaries don't really die. So you don't need to keep replacing them. Kilyadi's like, please, just can we maybe wait a little bit longer? My old man memory has kicked in again. I've forgotten about the systems. He hasn't switched over onto Dialecticus. Could have had the upgrade by now. He is proving to be a nuisance with this castle, though. That nuisance is close to the end, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's just no more resistance left. What a crazy game. The comeback's real in this. We have to remember that Kilyadi was in a dominant position early on. LuMT then comes in to clutch up, return to form. And then turn it around. Slow and steady. I mean, it might have been slow and steady in terms of how long the game was, but it was visceral in its execution. Kilyadi maybe just going to be kicking himself that, you know, for once he didn't double down for the kill. Instead, tried to play the long con. Always a dangerous thing to do against the Ottomans, and always a reminder of how dangerous these heavy on food maps can be, where you don't think you need a transition. Then all of a sudden find yourself spiraling in a rush towards one. MT now. Sacred Sight's ticking down. Kiliadi's reluctant to give over the win, but, I mean, where's the production rate, right? He has committed to Nesta Beast, which is pretty smart. But he needs to get a Sacred Sight now. If he really thinks he can just claw this one back, which, I mean, is Byzantines, right? When you completely burn all the resources on the map, it is one of the civs that can still function with mercenaries on olive oil. So, like, I can see the idea here. But the problem right now, guys, is we're under a minute until a Sacred Sight victory, and Kiliadi's still not reacting. Nami's also getting ready to dive in. I don't think he realizes. Kiliadi? He switched the hearing aid off. He can't hear the ring of the bell. Nesta Bees ain't going to be your golden solution if they can't even spawn. Siege is coming in to deny the siege. Foreign engineering company is going to go down. Only one Nesta Bees birthed. In the meantime, Sipahi are still cleaning up the workers. And this is over. He hasn't even tried. He's got 20 horsemen and he hasn't even tried. A bit of an underwhelming end. But probably felt he needed to be here in all force. But Kiliadi, I mean, he just got the scratchy head moment to round out this game. Oh my god. What do you think, guys? Did Kiliadi have the way of ending this? Was this a surprising outcome? And at what point do you think he even forgot there was a timer? I'm going to say he forgot about 4 minutes.